Hi guys, Shopper back once again with another mint inbox for TokuToyStore.com, and today I'm going to be looking at the latest Bottle Change Rider figure set, BCR for short, and this is the BCR 12 Rabbit Tank Hazard Form and RabbitRabbit and TankTank armor set. It's a bit of a mouthful, but this is a bit of a big set. Now, this is one of, if not the penultimate super form for Build. I'm not entirely sure on that. I'm not really following the show anymore, but it looks really impressive. It's a very nice box. You got some nice product images of the two forms. Nice stock photos of the suits themselves. The box follows the usual Build aesthetic. Mask, spring, tank. Yeah, it's really nice. You can see some cross promotion with other BCR figures. A lot more than when I last did this, in fact. Is there? Yeah, because there's the Fire Hedgehog and the Pirate Train one. I haven't done those. But after a while, the regular arms change ones do get a bit samey. And I think my reviews kind of reflected that as I went on. But this is a new gimmick setup. So let's crack open the box and see what you get for your money. Inside the packaging you get a hazard form figure for Rabbit Tank with the associated belt. This is his super dangerous berserker form, a little like Fang Joker from Double. You also get the add-ons to this form, which gives him some semblance of control. So you've got TankTank and RabbitRabbit, both accessed using the full bottle, and they're just armor add-ons, so you've got little parts associated with them. Looks pretty cool so far. And in a separate baggie we have two versions of the full bottle buster, which is this form's primary weapon, both in gun and sword form, and curiously two versions of the build driver hazard trigger attached that have the full bottle inserted. I'm guessing at some stage they were planning on painting them to differentiate them and didn't get around to it, because other than that I can't see any actual difference between the two molds. Oddness, but yeah, we're going to get the figure out, we're going to see how it plays, and then move on to the gimmick. The Rabbit Tank Hazard Form is a really nice, sleek looking version of the build suit with a few extra gubbins on the helmet and the shoulder pauldrons, as well as this back collar segment that really gives it its own unique identity. And it shares a lot of the same articulation as the Bottle Change Riders of the past, meaning there is no head swivel, there is no waist swivel, but the arms do get a very nice range of motion. You've got the wrist swivel and the two finger hands, and the legs even do a fair amount of articulating themselves. So yeah, you've got a very nice figure as the base, and the details aren't too bad overall. Got a nice version of Tank, got a pretty nice version of Rabbit. The build driver itself is picked out with enough detail to give you the gist of what's going on. The belt's yellow, and that's your lot really. I don't think there's any shared parts with previous molds. None that I can pick out. I mean, the legs are for the most part new. It's built on previous designs, clearly, but I don't think it's sharing any parts. Maybe the only things that are shared are maybe the hands. I'm not entirely sure. So let's kick into the armor changing gimmick. To attach the armor pieces, we're going to have to bring in the armor pieces themselves, and we'll start with the shin guards, which is simply a matter of just clipping them on. There are friction pads in there to line up with creases in the leg themselves, so it's fairly easy. Like so. The arm guards line up with little ports there. Again, very simple, while not hindering articulation. And finally we come to possibly my favourite part, where we bring in the chest piece. Now this reminds me a lot of the arms change figures. So we've got to put the head through the opening there, so we can line up the front and back pieces, like so. Oh. And now the head reveal. Like that. And here we have Kamen Rider Build RabbitRabbit Form. It's a really nice looking, almost regal version of Build. And as you can see, the armor fits quite snugly. You've got the two little cape pieces here. The armor looks pretty stunning and works well over the base body. But let's take a better look at the articulation. So, luckily the pauldrons on the armor move up, so you still get a fair amount of articulation there. The arm guards do not hinder movement in the least. They are a little prone to coming off though, which is unfortunate, but for the sake of this gimmick, there's some allowances that must be made. On the back, your little wing things. Very reminiscent of the cape on Comic Ninja, although now fashioned more like bunny ears. And the shin guards do pretty well to hold themselves together. Now we'll bring in the full bottle buster in its sword mode, which, because it's a big heavy lump of plastic, looks more like a club than a sword, but not a lot we can do about that. It's got some pretty nice molded detail, and Build can just about hold it. The tolerances on the fingers might be a bit suspect, but you can get okay poses if the wings will cooperate. And yeah, I think that's about as good as you're gonna get, really, because the sword itself is so cumbersome and the range of movement in the upper torso is non-existent. You're going to be stuck with maybe a pose such as that, or like that. Let's just get rid of that, because the figure itself is really nice. Got a bit of a vampire lord thing going, or is that just me? In my haste to show you the rabbit form, I neglected one key thing before transforming him. And that is that I should have removed the build driver and replaced it with one of the other provided. So now he can actually access his full bottle form. Sorry for that little continuity error, but I got too excited because I really do like this figure and its gimmick. So for the next form, we'll bring in the tank pieces. Really nice looking blue treads on these. I think they go this way. No, they go that way in fact. Like so. And like so. Already liking this. Got the arm pieces. Like that. And we'll bring in the armor piece, slide it over his head. Oh, a bit of a problem there. Click it in, make sure it's secure. Uncross the tread cape and head reveal. Ta-da! Whereas RabbitRabbit Form was built for speed, TankTank is built for offense and defense. It's a really heavily armored form, and the associated pieces do have their own firepower attributed to them. So let's get a closer look at the head. Just a nice golden barrel and treads. The shoulder pauldrons have a much better range of movement, so you can get a higher shoulder movement on them, which is fantastic. Again, the arm guards do not hinder movement in the least. The legs, pretty much the same. And on the back, you have a pair of tank treads acting as the cape. Build's TankTank form is probably my favourite out of this set. It's just a bulky, brutal looking tank themed superhero. It's a great looking form in my opinion, much better than the Rabbit one. And we'll bring in his signature weapon with the full bottle buster in gun mode. I'm going to try his other hand, see if we have a little more success with that. And it seems, oh, things are falling apart a bit, that's not good. It seems the weight of the 4-bottle buster is just a little too much for Build's dainty hands to contend with. Try to find at least one semi-natural pose to put this guy in. Yeah. I think that will have to do. Oh, he's losing joint stability as we speak. But yeah, he looks suitably impressive. He's got kind of a Imperial Guard thing about him now in that pose. A real Captain Phasma looking deal going on. I really dig that. That's a cool shot. But yeah, I really like the figure overall. The weapon implementation is a little so-so, but the overall armor gimmick itself is really nice. Overall, I really like this set. The Bottle Change Rider series has consistently been putting out pretty decent figures overall. The gimmick itself being most of the charm of it, but I think this is probably the highlight for me, as it gives it a new twist on the bottle change gimmick itself. You basically get 3 figures in one, and overall it's just fun to play with. It's a good toyetic toy. It's got good hand feel. You can just mess with it while you're idly watching something, while you're idly watching Kamen Rider Build. It's a really fantastic, fun toy, and you get a lot of value for money for this. You can pick up the Bottle Change Rider 12 Hazard Form and RabbitRabbit TankTank set from tokutoystore.com for $57.99. Thanks once again for tuning in, guys. I've been Sharpo. This has been the Kamen Rider Build Bottle Change Rider, and I will catch you guys next time on Mint in Box.